When will they invent a webcam that's in like so I can like look at you and look at you at the same time?
I was thinking about that because I have two computer screens, and I always put the Hangout on my right one, but my camera's here.
Yeah,
So
no,
if you remember,
I can tell when you're making eye contact with me.
Yeah,
because you're not making eye contact with me. You're looking over here. I know you're looking at me. That's like I've trained myself to go. Oh, all right, he's making eye contact. Like right now, you're making eye contact.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, this must be a serious point. Okay.
Do you have YouTube open right now?
No. Should I?
Cool. No. I heard myself a few times and I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
I was probably getting loud. Let me tweet out some links though.
That was a really good idea. Should do that quick. We'll give it a couple minutes to. Oh God, I got coffee in my eye.
So when we watch your reruns, we see all this, right?
Say that again.
So if I watch the rerun of this episode, I'm seeing this right now, right?
Yeah. The boring stuff.
When is then now?
Oh God, I don't know that movie well enough to keep up with you on that. But what I did just currently notice is that my wife ate a sandwich over my keyboard.
Is there like rogue bologna in your
fucking crumbs everywhere? I bought a different keyboard that has high profile keys. Let's see if I can get this up here.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I spend too much money on a keyboard. But
it's like one of the devices
yeah, it's
the aliens made in Tommy Knockers.
That was an excellent movie reference. And yeah. But I got it so I can just take a can of air and just right under the bottom.
Just blow that shit out.
Yeah. Because, fuck me.
I used to always read about or hear about people who wouldn't give up typewriters. Like Dan Rather would carry his typewriter with him on the plane and be like, I don't need these newfangled computers. I'm just going to use a typewriter, and be like, but a computer is a typewriter. It's the same fucking thing, but better. Yeah. Like, stop being an old man. And now I'm realizing I'm going to be that guy with keyboards because you don't need them anymore. People are using tablets and smartphones, and I cannot work like that. I need a keyboard. I don't even like tweeting with I have to go to my desktop to tweet.
There are a lot of times if I have to type a long email or something longer, I'll do it at a computer.
Yeah, exactly. If it's like something you really want to focus on, texting obviously is different. But although I do text I prefer texting with my keyboard. That's why I hate texting with anybody who doesn't have iPhones. Because
you're a Mac kid.
Yeah, I'm using a messaging app that allows me to text from my Mac.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be in like 30 years. The kids are going to be blinking or thinking or whatever the fuck they're going to be doing with the technology. And I'm going to be like, let me get out my keyboard. And they're going to be, why are the letters all out of order? I'm going to look like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, could be worse. Someone did talk me into getting G keyboard, I think it's called. Gboard. It's a Google keyboard that uses swipe on iOS.
Oh.
And swipe is pretty nice, but it also, like before when you and I were texting and I'd mentioned like a movie, underneath it would give you like a web link for that movie. So if I hit it would
awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, so but that's a keyboard. Oh, that's a keyboard for your phone.
Yeah, for iOS.
Oh no. I got all sorts of I got a swipe I prefer using. I use Microsoft Swipe.
See, I just started using swipe when I was really drunk.
And it has like shit like that, Google and stuff, but it's too many. It's not intuitive enough. But yeah, this is my keyboard. See how it's on an arc?
Oh God, I looked at the wrong screen. I'm like, hold on, let me get to the right one. Right, what?
Yeah, so that's an arc, so that I can swipe. So I text with one thumb. So everything's in thumb range because I have tiny fingers.
What phone do you have?
It's an iPhone 6S.
6S. Okay.
Getting old, starting to slow down. I'm starting to feel its age.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, but
it's only a year and a half old. Not even.
Yeah. I have the 7, and I'm like, battery's not what it used to be, and it is 6 months old.
I hate that. What's driving me crazy is, so I've had my first Mac forever. And it lasted a long time, and then finally I was like, Mom, can I please get a new one? Because I was 27-year-old asking my mom for a new computer. That's how it goes.
With that.
And she helped me pay for it because MacBook Pros are $3,000. So I got a new MacBook Pro, and now I've had that computer. That's the computer I've been using. It's a computer we've done all of We Studios on. That computer I've now had it 2 years longer than I had that other computer. It's a 2009 Mac, so it's going on 8 years. And it barely runs. It makes all sorts of noises. It's, It's ridiculous. I cannot afford a new computer unless I want to switch to like a Chromebook or something. And I don't. I want a powerful computer. I'm probably gonna either switch. I'm gonna have to switch to like an iMac.
Well, what do the 2009 MacBooks have solid state drives, or is it still spinning?
It sounds like it's spinning. I don't know. Those those are the fans, I've been told. But I don't know technology.
Is it a MacBook? It's not a MacBook Pro, is it?
Yeah, it's MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro.
It doesn't matter. But
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
It's the RAM I really like. I like having a lot of RAM. That's why I hate the new MacBook Pros. They're $4,000. They're more expensive, and they only have 16 gigs of RAM. And if I buy one, I'm going to be using. How much
do you need?
Well, if I buy one, I'm going to be using it until I'm 40. I soup up. Anytime I buy, that's why this one costs $3,000. I loaded it up as max RAM as it can get, and that's why I can still barely use it now. That's why I can still edit my podcast on it, run GarageBand and shit. I'm talking to you on it right now.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's hanging in there, knock on wood. But
yeah, I had an old MacBook, like when they were still black.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put Mountain Lion on it. Like the line was as high as it could go. It wouldn't let me go up any higher, so I got rid of it because
the last iOS update from a few months ago was the first time this computer wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
So now that's it. That's like when you have 6 months to live. Like that's my computer was told like its days are numbered.
Which I think is kind of ridiculous that they stop allowing you. It would be one thing if there was like a hardware restriction, but
and my other computer, this is a 2011, so this is more for screenwriting. I can bring it anywhere. It weighs less than a pound. But even this is, it won't be able to take updates forever.
No, but that's how they get you to buy new ones.
I don't have the money.
We should actually start like an old man podcast where we just complain about things.
Yeah, it's called 90s Percentile. We'll get you back on. You're long due. We planned a long time ago to I planned. I was like, after 20 episodes or so, let's do repeat I wanted to have like a rogues gallery of regulars, but we're just getting so many good guests lined up that we haven't really repeated too many guests. And
yeah, so you guys lucked out. We kind of got into that where it was like every 3 months or so we can start repeating guests.
That's what I want to do. I think it's better. You establish a rapport, the people get comfortable with the formula.
But you guys have like cool friends.
Yeah. And to be honest, a lot of the reason at least early on, the reason you ask people is so that they can get their friends to listen to your show.
That's very true.
And so we got into that cycle, but I still have like at least a dozen, maybe definitely, I would think more, like really cool guests I want to get on. I'm trying to get them on as early as possible. And then people like you get bumped. We'd love to have Corey on again.
I talk to you every once in a while, so it's not like I don't hear from you until you never ask me to be on your podcast.
No, I know, but it's frustrating. It's an embarrassment of riches, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, since the one time I was on, we talked about Arnold movies. Next weekend is the Arnold Sports Classic in Ohio. I will be in the same building as Arnold Schwarzenegger again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You might even bump into me. I might get on the same elevator with him.
The first year we went, someone I met doing, what was that called? The first podcast, the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. He does like all the writing for the Arnold fan page or the fan website, and he basically told me, he says, if you ever see like Secret Service type guys walking around and surveying an area, he goes, they're about to bring Arnold through. So we were like walking.
Governor or
no.
He just has bodyguards.
Yep. He has like a big entourage of people because he'll go out and I
could see like Tom Hanks needing a bodyguard, but if somebody attacks Arnold, he's probably going to be fine.
That's true, but yeah, because he's there. Like he hands out all the first place awards for everything that happens there. Like he was on the stage when the Mountain deadlifted 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I know you're a Game of Thrones fan, so.
Yeah,
but he was like,
and I also follow the weird things that the Mountain does. Like, I'm gonna push up this bathtub full of molten lead.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck yeah, you'll be there again. So I'm looking
because I can.
Because I can. Hey, if I could do shit like that, I would too. But yeah, so basically, we saw like all these cops like walking through this one area, and we knew that this event was about to end. and all of a sudden people started like bunching up. So we were kind of standing in an area, and the cops like came through and spread the whole thing apart. So my buddy, one of the guys I go with, and I were like right on the edge, and all of a sudden, just over like this escalator, you just see Arnold's head, and he starts coming down. He's just surrounded by people. He actually shook my friend Jake's hand as he walked by. Yeah, I know, and I was like, "Fucking, he touched me. He touched me by proxy because he touched you." But
I've got a couple of great stories I can't tell because of confidentiality stuff, but I've got some friends who had some really cool meetings with Sylvester Stallone, and like we're just hanging out in his house. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess I'll say it. They were this close to writing Expendables 4, like being hired for that and for another Stallone projects. And then I better not say this part.
Yeah,
it fell through. It fell through.
Save it for later when we're not on YouTube.
Who should probably be watching?
You know for a fact he's watching. We should probably start recording this podcast. Actually,
sure.
The whole reason we're here.
Recorded all that. I could have been recording. I'm such an asshole.
Well, it's on YouTube. If I have to, I can go pull the audio. It's not the end of the world. I try and limit the amount of editing I have to do.
I understand completely. Although I gotta say, as much as I hate editing and it takes a lot more time and energy, going back about 5 minutes in the conversation, I think booking guests is my least favorite thing to do.
It sucks.
It's just because it's like if that was my job, then sure, yeah, I would like text people back and forth, emails, call, whatever. But when you have to do that shit on top of everything else, and being a classic introvert like myself,
which is weird to me, given the amount we talk when we get together.
Wow, it's different.
But yeah, I'm an extrovert. I'll talk to the wall.
The way like obviously I'm not some kind of weird antisocial. I can be, but I'm not autistic. I know how to talk to people. What I think of most introverts mean, I'm hearing myself crazy. What I think they mean is like I have a reserve, like an energy bar of how much I can be social. And if I go to a party, it depletes. And now I need just alone time to like I can only do so much. But depending on who I'm with, that bar goes down slower or faster. So what I have, like, if I'm talking to you or Corey, it goes down a lot slower. If I'm talking to a total stranger, somebody I'm not familiar with, somebody I have to force small talk with, then it's going to.
That's true. I totally get it. I'm also trying to figure out how you may or may not be hearing yourself.
I don't know.
I don't fucking get it. I just don't like technology at all.
That's the other thing. That's my third least favorite thing.
If it wasn't for technology, I wouldn't have a job.
Actually,
but
that's my second least favorite thing. I would even say I like editing more than that. Because I actually like editing. It's just a fucking grind.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I just don't want to do it. Because it's tedious.
Exactly.
And I don't like listening to myself talk.
But I can do it. Whereas this production stuff, I'm not good with. It's not natural to me. That's why I wasted $200,000 at film school. It's like I hate films. I hate film set. I hate being on set. I hate film set so much. And I will be paying till I'm 65 years old for an incomplete bachelor's degree.
What year do you turn 65?
That's a lot of math.
I don't want to do math.
Well, I'm 32 now. I'm going to be 33. So I will, in 32 years, I'll be 65. And 32 plus 17.
49.
2049.
Okay. I often will look at my student loan thing and it's like, you'll be paid off on January 1st of 2040. Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's brutal.
Yeah. We just got to win the lottery.
I just opened up my third credit card last night. I always promise myself, always never have more than 2 credit cards. I wanted one credit card and a backup. That was my goal in life because I hate owing money. And I finally had to open up a third card to like put the balances of the other 2 on this one so I could eat.
Yeah.
And I was not happy. And so they approved me instantly. And like,
which is the worst.
Yeah. And I looked and my credit limit is like ridiculous, like, at least to me, like relatively ridiculous. It's more than double my other 2 combined. And I just like, I was like, what? And like, I'm not happy about it because I don't want to be trusted with. I know that money, that card's going to be full in 3 months. I know it.
I got an Amazon one And my whole
Yeah,
my sole purpose was to just put everything on there and then pay it off. Well, then you get into like this shame spiral because you're spending more than So I've stopped using it and I'm paying it down, and they keep bumping up my credit limit. And it's like
that's how they do it.
Like I could buy a car, and I'm like, I don't want that.
No.
But the name of the game for a good credit score is income versus debt. Like your income to debt ratio, which I think is fucking stupid. Like a buddy of mine paid off everything, and his credit score went down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't feel like you should be dinged because you don't owe anybody money.
I actually fucked myself because if I pull this off by the end of the year and get away I have my credit card debt and I have my student loan debt. And if I can get my credit card debt, which has been my goal for years, and I keep coming so close, and I think I was within like $300 last summer. I was like, this is it. And now it's the worst it's ever been.
Out of control.
But yeah, if I pull that off, my credit score is gonna tank because now I'm gonna have these 3 cards with this huge limit, and theoretically have no money on them. I'll be fucked.
Yep.
It just makes me sick. The only thing I was excited about seeing this huge limit was I was like, all right, if I get fired tomorrow, and I literally I can like just buy a bunch of shit and just go rogue, like just like turn into Logan, Weapon X, and I can live for like 6 months on this credit and never pay them back, and then like go out in the blaze of glory.
Or just file for bankruptcy.
Whichever comes first.
Yeah. Well, details. All right. Let's start recording. For real this time. Welcome to episode 77 of the Podcast of Terror, production of the Galactic Network. This is a podcast about all things scary. I'm your host, Matt Stein. Corey is currently on a required and much-needed vacation. I put him on a timeout. He's back home in Michigan, spending time with his family, being a better Corey. I don't know what else to do. Filling in this week is going to be a returning guest. Actually, I thought about this earlier. This is your 4th time, so you are now the current record holder of returning guests.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the
Wait,
voice.
So I'm not the co-host.
No, you're kind of the fuck you.
Am I host or am I guest? What's going on here? Am I filling in for Corey, or is the Matt Stein show special guest Shaq Picone?
I don't want it to be the Matt Stein show. But this still counts as an appearance on our show.
Okay,
co-host or guest. It's your 4th.
Do I have to do anything that Corey normally does?
Dick jokes.
He doesn't make dick jokes, does he?
I don't know.
You make the dick jokes.
And then he feeds off of my dick jokes, and then it turns into like his big sloppy mess of dick jokes.
It sounds like I'm a guest.
Just be Jack. That's all I know.
Anyway, I like that you said he's on vacation with his family. Like those are 2 opposite things to me.
Corey's such a nice guy.
He's the best. These would have been. I was about to say these are big shoes to fill, but I'm not filling them. I'm the guest. So
you're the fucking guest. You're the coach. Whatever. Be whatever you want. Anyways, if you've never listened to an episode of Jack before, you're probably in for a very long episode. But he is the co-host of Worst Episode Ever, a Simpsons podcast in 90th percentile. So because you don't want to be the guest, you want to be the co-host, I shouldn't let you plug your stuff, right?
No, I'm the guest. It's weepodcast.com. It's weepodcast.com. And if you ever buy anything, you can buy it from amazon.weepodcast.com. Check out our 90s podcast, 90s percentile, our Simpsons podcast, Worst Episode Ever, our commentary series, Sync Points.
Do you practice this in the mirror?
I do. I go, you plug into me?
You plug into me.
You plug into me?
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
All right, now I'm back to co-host.
Yeah, back to co-host.
Now that I made my plugs.
Yeah, it was pretty short notice because Corey's a dick when he schedules a vacation.
It's definitely short notice. We're going to talk about that in a minute, I'm sure.
About Corey's a dick?
No, our movie choice. Corey's not a dick. Oh, Corey dropping out of being short notice. Yeah. Usually is. You usually don't say, hey, I'm going to go disappear in 6 months.
That's true. Yeah. Just so you're aware, in 6 weeks, I'm going to disappear for a couple weeks. No, Corey, I love you. I'm sure you're listening to this.
You're missed here. Again, I'm not filling your shoes because I'm the guest, but the podcast terror is not the same without you. This will go down in history as one of the worst episodes ever. That's weepodcast.com. I'm guest again. weepodcast.com.
I said you
also,
can switch
I want to
back
give a shout out to my co-host and my partner in podcasting occupation, Dan Mulhall, because I know he's going to listen to this.
Which I think it's kind of it's sweet that Dan listens to this.
Well, he will listen to anything where he is reasonably sure he will be talked about. So, hi Dan, I'm talking about you. We're talking about you listening.
Does Dan does he drive to work or does he take the subway?
He takes the subway.
See,
But
I don't.
He does drive sometimes, which I do not do.
Yeah, see, I
More
fuck
power
that.
to him.
I just see him like in a subway and his head just getting bigger and bigger, just looking around, smiling. Like goes up to some random person, like, "Hey, they're talking about me. Listen to this."
Dan, if you're listening right now, you're on the R train. You're probably right about a Prospect Ave. I want you to turn to the person to your left, or if they're a crazy homeless person, turn to the person to your right and say, "Hey, Jack and Matt just said hi."
These guys are talking about me. I know them. I just I finished my coffee and the bottom was 98% coffee grounds.
Oh, that happens to me all the time.
I think I learned by now. Yeah, for more on this podcast, including show notes, contact information, subscription links, go to gncast.com/bot. You can chat with us on our Slack channel during our shows at gncast.com/sign up. And while you're there, you can subscribe to our newsletter. We're spoiling the movie Near Dark today in honor.
Spoilers for a movie that came out 30 years ago.
Yep. We're doing it in honor of the life of Bill Paxton, who we found out earlier today passed away.
Yeah, which like 5 hours ago. Jesus. Fresh wound.
Yeah, when you text me that, I kind of thought you were joking because he was not.
That's the classic Jack Picone humor. Hey, hey, you hear about Bill Paxton? He's dead.
He fucking died.
Waka waka waka.
I was like, fucking Jack. Jack telling me people are dead again. I had to Google it. Make sure he wasn't lying.
Yeah, no, my stand-up career was fizzled very quickly. I just, hey, it's great to be here. Hey, what about Bill Paxton, huh? He's not alive. Audience was just like, it's too meta for them.
Hey, I've seen your stand-up. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. You didn't see my Bill Paxton bit.
I did not see your Bill Paxton bit. Is that on your next Netflix special?
No, because now it's true. It's not funny anymore.
No, you can say it, and then when people are like, "Oh," just be like, "Oh, too soon, too soon," then it's okay.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. I'm not
too soon. It's okay.
Yeah, as long as you're too soon, it's okay.
There's a guy I do stand up with a lot, and he ends his act with little riddles that his daughter tells him, like really corny jokes, like, what do you call a pile of cats? A meowton.
Oh, Jesus.
And whenever he says something like that, I just yell, "Too soon!" It just confuses everybody.
Oh God. Sorry. I
opened once I explain my joke, it's not very funny.
I stopped because I opened up the CNN link to that Bill Paxton passed away because that's their first news story, and it started playing fucking music in the background. And there's nothing that drives me nuts more than websites that play music, because CNN
automatically plays their the news videos. Trump was right to keep them out of the newsroom, even though it was pretty much just destroying the freedom of the press and taking freedom of speech and all that. Those fucking autoplay ads. Good riddance.
Oh, I hate them so much. And now that brief music will show up on our podcast, and who knows? I'll get this fucking channel shut down too because of whatever.
This would be a good story for Weird World Weekly. But do you know about the CNN apocalypse video?
No.
So when the network started in the early 90s, late 80s, Ted Turner had them make a video so that if nuclear war was initiated, they would have something to play. So it's just like, hey, there's some incoming missiles from Russia. We're all about to die. Here's a 3-minute video saying goodbye. And it was just, it's like, sad music and like a montage of America at its greatest. And it was basically, they didn't want dead air. They assumed their reporters, like, you're going to have Wolf Blitzer. He's going to go home with his family, so he's not going to be there when it happens. So they needed something to play. And
have you seen this?
Yeah. So I think it's on YouTube.
Is it?
Don't go watch it now. If you're watching us right now, watch it in 3 hours. But
I was just going to play it.
Then the Oscars are on. Yeah, play it.
Is this it? All right.
Really more about the visuals.
Yeah. I expected like Dan Rather to show up.
No, he's not CNN.
I don't fucking know. Yeah, so it's just like the U.S. Army band playing sad music.
Yeah. It's not like Oscar-winning video. It's really more the The concept that's creepy as shit and morbid.
No, it really is. But with the way you described it, I expected there to be like some voiceover being like, well, the world's come to an end.
Well, now that Trump's president and the world might very well end, we should actually.
They probably have that queued up 24/7.
No, we need like a reboot. We need like a hard reboot. Like let's get J.J. Abrams to reboot the apocalypse.
the U.S. Army band playing while there's cars exploding in the background.
Exactly. Yeah. Harrison Ford shows up just to make us all feel a little bit better. John Williams could do the score. I'd watch it. I would love it. If John Williams scored my death by nuclear blast, I couldn't die happier.
Nothing wrong with that.
Unless he reuses music like the Hook soundtrack in Attack of the Clones. If I hear that bullshit right before I die, I'll be so pissed. I'll be so pissed.
Someone will
that's actually why Sarah Connor is doing that thing on the fence in Terminator 2. It's because she realized John Williams was reusing old music, and she's like, no.
I never knew that music was reused.
It's not. It just sounds very similar.
No, fair enough. I'll give it. So, anyways, yeah, Bill Paxton died.
R.I.P. Rest in peace. First time.
Complications to surgery.
That scares the shit out of me. That was probably like some just basic surgery. He's gonna be in, be out. Heart stopped.
Yeah, I because when you told me, I was like, oh, he wasn't sick. He wasn't like a big coke fiend from what I've heard. So it just didn't make sense that he died. Even though I saw complications to surgery.
Yeah, and he just seemed like the warmest, like nice guy.
Should pour one out for the
like
extreme.
If Tom Berenger died at 61 from complication surgery, I'd be like, But like he seems like a grumpy guy. But Bill Paxton seemed like just a genuinely decent, nice guy.
Well, that's like when like the Ultimate Warrior died. That didn't surprise me. He had a grabber while driving and hit a tree. That doesn't surprise me at all. Like I did a shit ton of cocaine. If you ever saw him cutting a promo and you didn't think he was doing cocaine, there's something wrong with you. But Bill Paxton, that sucked. I'm gonna have to watch Twister.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
It's not a horror movie. It wouldn't be great for
not at all. But I watched Twister like 3 times in a row when it first came out, and then we had a tornado warning in my hometown, and I was fucking terrified. I'm like, there's no pipe that goes 30 feet down. How am I gonna live?
You're fucked. Yeah. You should do a spinoff podcast with Corey called Podcast of Weather, and just do weather-based movies. Twister, Perfect Storm.
Good idea. We
Singing in the Rain.
We talked about doing
Sunshine. A Walk in the Clouds.
God damn it. We talked about doing a April Fool's
Caesar.
Let me know when you're done.
I can't think of a sleet one.
Movie about sleet.
Snow Dogs.
I don't know if there's a movie about sleet. Oh, Sleet Snow, 2009.
That sounds like a fake movie.
It's an IMDb page, so it's got to be real. Oh, it's like a love story. Meh. Never mind. No, we were talking about doing an April Fool's episode in which we were going to do Xanadu. Because Corey loves the movie Xanadu, I guess.
That's actually pretty funny. Although if you say that in advance, it kind of no longer an April Fool's joke.
Fine, I'll go back and I'll edit the podcast and just be one big long beep over the name. No one will know.
Is nobody watching right now?
I don't think so.
They're all watching the Barbara Walters pre-Oscar special.
You're all pumped for the Oscars. I'm just pumped to eat dinner.
Me too. I don't know. I'm trying to not get takeout because I'm broke.
It's probably really easy for you to do out there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm surrounded by it, especially where I am. I don't know. I'm very tempted. It's a payday. Friday was a payday. It's the weekend. I worked my ass off. I haven't relaxed all weekend except for briefly last night, where I watched Hell or High Water, and it wasn't even a good movie. And like I don't know. I feel like I earned like a $12 takeout meal, but I don't know what.
See, I don't know what $12 New York dollars will get you.
Like a combo meal
From
anywhere. I'm thinking halal. I'm thinking I want some shawarma because I just made a bunch of French fries and I made some chopped meat. So I don't know if I want a burger. This is a really interesting. Is this podcast of takeout?
It's gonna be by the end of this. I really like food.
Fast Food Nation.
Fast Food Nation.
Popeye.
Do you like sushi?
No, I do not. I do not eat
do not
anything
know.
in the ocean.
Huh.
Not on principle. It just grosses me out.
No, I didn't think it was based on principle since you eat hamburgers.
Which I'm morally against. I think I'm morally vegetarian. I think the way we don't need to kill animals anymore. We've evolved past that. But burgers taste so good.
This is going to turn into the podcast to ethics. So you don't think that animals should die at all?
Here's how I go. I don't know about ethics or what's right or principle because other animals kill animals. I don't know if there is a objective right or wrong. What I do know is if I see an animal suffering, I feel bad.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, that's all I'm going on.
But the deliciousness.
If I have to step on a cockroach, it ruins my day. Like I
see bugs,
bad.
I don't care about. I will
feel
murder
bad
a bug
for the rest of the day.
No, I'll murder a bug. I don't care about that.
So like the idea, if I saw a cow, I would fall in love with that cow. I'd be like, this is the cutest thing ever. I want this cow. I don't like when I play Minecraft, I won't kill any of the animals, which is, it hurts. You know, sometimes I need some feathers to make some arrows. I'm fucked.
I've never played Minecraft.
I started about 3 months ago.
I'm going to keep it that way.
My commute. I bought it on my phone.
Oh, that makes sense. See, I don't.
Yeah, so like when I'm listening, I get bored now when I listen to podcasts. I need something else to do. So I'm like, I chop trees. I chop wood.
Yeah, I go on streaks of things that I do in my free time.
Sure you do.
Fuck you. In the nicest way possible. Fuck you. Yeah, meat's delicious though.
It really is.
Just gonna get. I don't want to forget about the meat conversation.
Certain meats. Ground beef is my favorite. Ground beef and bacon. So like chuck, meatloaf, burgers, my favorite.
See, I like turkey and chicken a lot.
Yeah,
I do. I like, and I love red meat. I can eat more turkey than red meat.
Well, I do eat more turkey and chicken. I try to limit my red meat intake to 1 or 2 times a week.
Yep. Yeah. It's now to a point.
My ground chuck is all turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like for dinner tonight, I will make a pound of ground turkey and some spaghetti sauce and throw it in a bowl with a bunch of vegetables.
It's kind of exactly what I'm going to do later.
Yeah.
But I don't want to eat it. I already ate it. I've been eating it nonstop, so I'm kind of sick of it. That's why I want takeout.
Oh, see, I just change up my spices. See,
I just discovered. Well, that's it. I just discovered spices. I've never used spices before.
Podcast cooking.
I just discovered packets of like sloppy Joe powder, and I was like, oh my god, this changes everything.
Yeah, I've a lot of times I will take I'll make like some rice, some basmati rice, and make like turkey taco meat and put that on the rice.
Yep.
It's
best.
Yep.
Crap. And then I throw in I don't want the vegetables in there, but I'll throw in veggies to be healthy. So, I'm such a happy-go-lucky guy. I just want to live as long as possible so I can keep being this happy and enjoying life.
See, I want to.
Life is the adventure of a lifetime by Coldplay. That's my favorite song.
God damn. Well, do you want to do the next news story before we get weird and sad?
Yeah, R.I.P. Bill Paxton. You're better off. You're better than the rest of us now.
Yeah. You can eat cheeseburgers and wherever you want.
Nowhere.
Podcast religion.
Podcast of atheism. Also called 90s percentile. That's weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com.
There's more to that. Don't stop. There you go.
Now co-host again.
Next news story I got.
What's our next story?
Now, and I know you used to play more video games than you do now. I'm guessing as a child you played Castlevania.
No, I didn't ever. I know it was like one of the staples, but it wasn't one of the dozen NES games I had in my drawer that my mom bought me.
Fair enough.
And I got my sister an NES Classic for Christmas, and I saw it was one of the classic games on there, and I started playing it. I was like, yeah, this is cool.
So you're probably not as pumped as a lot of 80s nerds out there that Netflix is making a TV show.
If it's good, I'm all for it. That seems like a great place to finally get a video game adaptation right.
Yeah. And I wasn't a huge Castlevania fan, so I'm
about vampires and monsters and shit.
Yeah, basically it's this tale of a Dracula story. You know what I mean? One of many. But they released a teaser poster for it, and it actually looks kind of badass. But
No, I'm all for it. I love Netflix. I think they put a lot of quality shows out there.
Did
And
you probably haven't, but did you watch Ultimate Beastmaster yet?
no, I don't even know what that is.
So it's a
Like the Beastmaster,
worldwide, not like the Beastmaster video game.
Brian Singer's cousin,
Jesus.
Mark Singer, that 80s movie, Beastmaster. Is that what you're talking about? Like a remake of that?
No.
I'm not being funny. I'm asking.
Oh, no.
This is me as co-host.
So did you heard of like Ninja Warrior in American
Yes,
Ninja Warrior?
yes.
Okay. So it's Netflix's Ninja Warrior, but it's a worldwide competition that was released simultaneously worldwide in like 5 different languages on the same day on Netflix.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like a really cool concept. So point being is Netflix can do all sorts of really cool shit, I guess. Hopefully Castlevania is cool. It comes out in 2017 at some point.
I'm hoping Iron Fist is cool because
the fuck is Iron Fist?
So Netflix has 4, possibly 5 Marvel series.
Okay.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and possibly The Punisher. And the first 4 are going to team up for a Defender series next year or later this year, which will be the Avengers for TV. And Iron Fist is the 4th one, but he seems to be the least interesting, at least for me. I know the least about him. It's just some white guy that does kung fu. Like Luke Cage had a lot of cool issues. Jessica Jones was really cool. Daredevil is my favorite superhero, and ironically, my least favorite of the 3 series.
Because she's a woman?
Who? Daredevil's my least favorite of the 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Jessica.
Jessica Jones is my favorite of the 3. It's such a good show. And David Tennant is the best Marvel villain since Loki, maybe even better than Loki. He's so good. Have you watched it?
No. I have watched. I watched Luke Cage. Like
it's one of the creepiest real world supervillain I've ever seen.
What show is this?
His name, he's the Purple Man, and whatever he says, you have to do, and it's so casual. It's so like if he says "go fuck yourself," you have to go fuck yourself, and you'll break your back doing it.
That's on
but it's such a creepy power. No, this is Jessica Jones.
God damn it! I can't.
Daredevil is Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, who's good. He was good.
All right,
Daredevil's just kind of bores me. Like the fight scenes are really cool. There's some really cool moments, but it reeks of that glut of basic cable TV shows that just does the same fucking basic cable story. Like every basic cable show since Sopranos is basically the exact same fucking show.
I will watch Jessica Jones for you.
You should. It's really good, and it's like there's a lot of thematic stuff going on there about rape culture and shit. It's really creepy.
Well, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, he makes her take photos. He makes her take selfies of her smiling every day. So she's like has to smile. Like it's fucked up.
I think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, well, for the wrong reasons maybe. But
what? No, I
ooh, I like that. Ooh, make a girl smile. Yeah, ooh, sign me up.
Jesus.
That's my Matt impression.
Don't worry.
Ooh, I'm a misogynist.
Every 6 or 8 weeks, people get to hear the ad that you and Dan did, where you make fun of Corey and I.
That wasn't a making fun of. That was like an homage.
Corey and I have to repay the favor someday, but you guys refuse to play out, so why even waste my time?
I would love if you guys did an impression of me and Dan. Who would do who?
I would probably have to do Dan, just because I like you more. I feel bad.
He's listening, Matt.
I know he is. I know he is. You hear that, Dan? I like Jack more. I'm Team Jack. You're
just saying that so that you're trying to make him like you more. You're playing hard to get.
Yep. I want Dan to get jealous so that Dan will talk to me more, and then we can start vacationing together. I don't know why we went to vacation. I don't know why we're going on vacation, but that's.
Should we do a podcast timeshare?
Sure. We'll get like 6 podcast hosts in on this thing.
House in Acapulco. Sounds like an MTV show in the making.
It would have to end up. I'm trying to think of like what channel this would actually end up on, because it wouldn't be MTV.
No, it'd be like Fuse or something. Some channel nobody watches.
What you don't have cable YouTube. At all, right?
What?
You don't have any TV service?
No, I have some apps that I use.
Okay. So Sling, which is what we switched to for cable, has a Cheddar channel, which there's like a bunch of random shit on, and then there's a Polaris channel, and the Polaris channel seems to be every YouTuber known to man has like their own TV show.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm thinking we can get
even PewDiePie. That Nazi?
Not anymore. I believe PewDiePie was on there. Markiplier's on it a bunch. But yeah, no one likes PewDiePie anymore. But I'm guessing we can get our
Nazis do. All right people do. They love him.
He's huge in Germany right now.
Germany's the most liberal country in the world right at this moment.
That's true. I do love Germany. I feel like we can get our podcasting timeshare on one of those channels.
All right, let's do it.
Right.
But I'm going to act as host here. Speaking of time sharing, this podcast is sharing too much of my time. Let's move on to the next story.
Wow, dick.
What? No, that was good. That was like we call that a segue in the biz.
Wasn't a very good segue. The next news.
Treat me with respect.
Sorry.
Now I'm the host. You're.
I can't. This is worse than having a side hoe. I can't keep track of how to treat you.
Am I your Gumar?
Sure, you can be whatever you
Sopranos?
Want. No, I don't.
And or know any Italians besides me?
No.
Gumar is your woman on the side.
Oh.
But it's a girlfriend. It's like not some random fuck. It's like it's your girlfriend that's not your wife.
Okay.
You have to take her place. You have to take her out. Yeah, it's literally like a second wife.
Yeah. So yesterday, quick story, and then we'll get into the news story. But we went to a hockey game, and it was the teddy bear toss. And so after the home team scored their first goal, everyone threw teddy bears on the ice, and then they collected the teddy bears and they gave it to the children's hospital in town. So I went to the Walgreens down the street from my house because they had Valentine's Day teddy bears on sale, 70% off. So I got like 4 of them. And I'm standing in line, and this girl just looks at me, and she's like, "That's a lot of teddy bears." And I'm like, "Got a lot of side hoes." She just stared at me.
Oh, that's away. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Sometimes jokes go over people's heads. Oh, well, I had a good one. Man, I had a good one with my family. And they just went over their heads, and oh fuck, I can't remember. Was that a pancake house? Oh man, I was so proud of it. It was such a good joke. Oh well. Well, now I know.
Okay.
So there was like it was kids' night, and they had like people dressed up in mascots, like walking around, like a big minion and a big cat in the hat walking around. And my nephew was so excited to see them, and the cat in the hat came over and he started petting my nephew's head, and they don't talk or anything, they're just like ooh. And my nephew got really nervous and he just stopped talking, and he's just like frozen in like fear/awe, and the cat's like trying to make him feel better. And so I said, "What's the matter? Cat in the hat got your tongue?" Nothing.
Fuck yes.
Crickets.
I would have lost it.
That would have been that was literally the one time in human history that line would have worked. And it was wasted on my brother and sister-in-law and cat in the hat.
You should find a better family.
I'm working on it. I'm trying.
Accepting applications?
I'd like to apply. That's my new podcast. My family.
So yeah, our news story. Real short one. The Tales from the Crypt reboot now has a new trailer. Apparently, it showed up out of nowhere.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. I didn't. This actually came out a couple days ago, and I just found it finding news for.
It's gonna be on HBO.
TNT.
Huh.
Which is even it's M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong is the head of the series, and then all of a sudden, like, they stopped talking about it. They said there was a lot of legal issues, and no one really knew when it was going to come out. And then this trailer just showed up out of nowhere. Now the trailer doesn't say this Tales from the Crypt, other than it's titled Tales from the Crypt reboot trailer, and then you hear the Crypt Keeper laughing.
Is it going to be the same guy that does the voice?
I don't know for certain. It sounds pretty much the same, but you'll find somebody who can do the voice. Dan can do the voice pretty well. Yeah, it's not that difficult. Yeah, sign up. Get Dan Mulhall. You have like his address and social security number you want to say real quick so they can find him?
He hates when I give out a social security number on the air. He's but if he does leave us, if he leaves We Studios to be the new Crypt Keeper, I might need a new co-host / guest. So
I'm honored. Oh, damn it. So close. So close. So that's still slated to come out sometime in 2017. So we'll see what happens. And then our last news story, because Jack and I talk too fucking much.
I'm sorry, that's my fault.
You get me off on a tangent. I follow. It's
several caffeine pills this weekend. So
yeah. What the fuck? Why don't you just drink more coffee or do Coke?
I feel like the coffee is just not doing it. It's just weak. I pee a lot.
That's true. I got to
I'm
a point
supplementing.
where
I'm washing the pills down with coffee. I still had like 3 cups of coffee today, but
that's it.
and the caffeine pills.
That's true. Yeah.
And I drink a big thing of green tea every day, but that's like got a quarter of
green tea all goddamn day. That's an impressive amount of caffeine. How do you sleep at night? Like physically, how do you fall asleep at night?
I try not to take any caffeine after 4 p.m.
Okay.
And usually I'm so mentally exhausted from crying myself to sleep that I fall asleep.
What time do you go to bed?
Friday night, I went to bed at 9:30. I was out like a light.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I went to bed at 8:30 one night.
Typically, it fluctuates. Lately, it's been 11. It
wasn't terrible.
Before I started podcasting with Dan, it was like 6:30, and me and my girlfriend were like, "This is bad." It was when I first started working full time, but she was also just like going to bed with me, and we're just like, we should not be going to bed this early. This is not a life well lived.
No, and that's
I needed a hobby, and then we started We Studios.
Fucking podcasting it's somewhere between a hobby and a narcotic.
It's a Gumar. It's my side hoe.
There you go. That's a good one. Next time my wife complains about it, I'll be like, she needs attention too, you know. My wife goes to bed at like 9 most of the time. I don't know why. She tries to get her alarm starts going off at like 4:45, and then she gets up at 7. So for 3 hours or 2 hours and 15 minutes, I wake up every 20 minutes with a fucking alarm. But
no, I wake up. I'm not a good sleeper.
No, neither am I. So I used to go to bed with her, but now I just stay up till like 10 or 11 because I'm an adult. Last news story we have is the new Halloween movie that's coming out is actually set to come out on October 19th, 2018, which people seem super surprised of because the Friday the 13th movie was shit canned, and apparently Blair Witch, the new Rings movie, the new Resident Evil, and the new Underworld all did horrendously.
Oh, the new Resident Evil movie bombed?
Yeah. Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Be the last one. I'm guessing because it bombed, it might actually be the last one. I always assumed they'd just come back in like 5-10 years.
See, they started getting too far away from the video game, so I stopped watching.
5 minutes into the first movie.
Yep.
No, but I'm surprised. I thought it was a popular series.
It didn't do that bad. I mean, 238 million.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. All right, then they're fine. The movie was probably made for like 30 million.
40. Close enough.
Yeah. This Halloween remake, it's a separate remake from the Rob Zombie,
but it's not really a remake.
They're saying it might be a sequel.
Yeah, so it's supposed to come between 2 and 4 because the original 3 wasn't really.
But 4 has been retconned out of existence. 4, 5, and 6 never happened according to H2O and the one that came after H2O with Busta Rhymes. Resurrection. Yeah,
so I feel like this is going to potentially replace 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And who's doing it? Seth Rogen or somebody? Isn't that somebody silly like a comedian? Danny McBride, yeah.
Which is we'll see.
I think it's also David Gordon Green, who's a really interesting filmmaker. Yeah. So he did a movie I loved called I forget the name of the movie, but it was with Dermot Mulroney and
Dylan McDermott.
No, Dylan McDermott. What the fuck was the name called? But it was these 2 kids in the woods, and their dad gets killed, and Josh Lucas was in it, and it was really cool. And I was like, and he's made other movies too, but he's not just the Eastbound and Down Pineapple Express guy. He makes some really interesting movies. I could see him doing a great job.
Oh, he did Vice Principals. I love that show.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it's similar to Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, which is why I liked it because I loved Eastbound and Down.
You remind me of Danny McBride.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I enjoy him. I wouldn't suggest getting a perm. I don't think you would look good.
Fuck no.
Very curls.
Although, I used to have longer hair, like down to here, and because my hair is curly, it would just like just puff out in the back and
down to you like a Anakin Skywalker and Revenge of the Sith haircut, or. I'm jealous of people who can grow their hair long. I have curly hair. what's left of it, and it just froze. I was not like shoulder hair, but I wanted to be able to do things with my hair besides either fro or nothing.
Yeah, roughly Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. I just at the time I was working in like a kitchen and I had to wear a hat all the time, and I was going to be a big famous rock star, so I just wouldn't get a haircut, and I was single, so there was no one to really yell at me to tell me to get a haircut.
I don't know who's gonna. My girlfriend helps me cut my hair. I cut my hair and then she like evens it out because I'm useless.
Do you just like number 2 zipper?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's gone for 6 weeks, and I don't know what to do, and I can't afford an actual haircut. And it starts to. I have this thing. My sides grow faster than my tops. So I start to look like Krusty the Clown. It's rough.
Have Dan help you.
Now that's a podcast. We'll do that for our 100th episode's coming up very soon, of worst episode ever. Maybe we'll just have him cut my hair while we record.
Damn it! I was hoping that we would hit 100 before you, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Probably not. It's what do we got? We got
how many?
98's coming out this Thursday.
Oh yeah, you're totally gonna get the
a month. We're a month away from our hundo.
Yeah, we'll hit it in probably August.
We should be up to like 200, but we cut back our recording time
that's because people who listen don't always understand the amount of time and effort involved. And I love everyone who listens and interacts with us. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I've taken the high road of doing as minimal editing as possible.
Yep. The 90s percentile format was completely designed to be as easy as possible.
Yeah, I kind of stole it from you a little bit, but I used to like cut out silence. And then we were getting fucked because when I switched to the new mixer, like we record at such a low volume and then boost it that it was cutting off like ends of words.
It's not good.
So yeah, so I just said, fuck it. Everyone gets to enjoy some silence now.
Yeah, silence is nice. NPR does it very well. We one day when we have dead air on We Studios, we'll welcome it.
So I did enjoy your new NPR intro, by the way. Just remember that. You guys need to eat some soda biscuits while you do it next time. Yeah, so Halloween's going to be coming out in October 2018 unless that gets canceled too.
That probably will be.
More than likely. And John Carpenter
proves
yes,
it.
Thank you.
Proves it.
What's that?
He approves of it, right?
Yes. Yeah, he seemed pretty excited for it. I thought he was doing something else, but he just gave it the old thumbs up, which is pretty good since I don't think he was really pumped on the Rob Zombie one.
No, he was at my school talking about it, and the media took it and ran with it that he said he hated it, and we had to delete like the interview from our website or something, I think.
Oh shit. The school you work at now or the school you went to?
School I work at.
Okay. That's impressive.
Yeah. Let's talk about I was gonna say let's talk about Near Dark, but I just watched They Live for the first time. Speaking of Carpenter, I'd never seen it before.
If Bill Paxton wouldn't have died, we should have. I love that movie. It's very it was very reminiscent of my childhood.
Yeah, no, I saw it for the first time. It was like, wow, this is a really weird fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that it exists. I'm surprised it has I'm not surprised it has a cult following. I wish it was a little bit more popular, but it always amazes me that people are fairly woke to certain issues. Like they know that consumerism is bad, government's controlling us, obey, all that. We know it. Mm-hmm. We don't really do anything about it. Like I saw V for Vendetta, not a great movie, but at the end, he kills the prime minister. He kills like the head of state.
Yep.
And everybody cheered. Everybody's like, yeah. And then we went right back and voted for Bush. Yep. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of people like to outwardly be very, like you said, woke, very mindful of what's going on around them, but no one really wants to do anything about it.
It's too much work.
It really is. And I totally agree. Like shit's fucked, but my couch is way more comfortable than trying to fix what the fuck is happening in our country.
I know, it's sad but true. They do that. They work us. They grind us to the bone till we're too fucking exhausted to do anything.
Yeah, some country just changed their full-time work week to like 30 hours.
Oh,
or 6 hour work days.
I thought you talking about Sweden or Finland. They
Yep.
just said they're going to start sending people home an hour a day to have sex.
Oh wait, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, that's different. It's one of the Scandinavian countries. Their population is low, so they're giving everybody a paid hour to go have sex at work.
God damn.
I mean, go leave work, go home, fuck, come back.
I need about 45 seconds, but I'd take an hour.
I would say like that's a huge hassle. Just like let us all out an hour earlier.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe I don't have a midday boner I need to kill.
I prefer sex in the sunlight. I actually like by the time the sun's down, I'm too tired.
Funny story about myself and sex in the sunlight. When my wife and I first started dating, it was before we started having sex, and I liked her. I didn't,
Oh, I like to have sex, then start dating.
See, and this was one, like, I knew that I didn't want to fuck this one up. So I was like,
you didn't want to fuck her. You didn't want to fuck her up.
Yeah. I lied to her, and I'm like, we got to wait 3 months. It was like a month later. But when the time came, it was like the middle of, what's that?
You're special.
Yeah, but yeah, that's not the point of the story. It was like the middle of the day, and I was like putting the moves on her, and I'm like, you want to, you don't want to, and she goes, I don't know, and I said, because it's light out, right? You don't want to do it. And she's gonna stare at me. I was like, Yee. We didn't do it because she didn't want to, not because it was light out.
No, I don't blame her.
But I don't blame her either. Sometimes I gotta blame.
One of these days it'll happen. Don't worry, Matt. You just be patient. You hang in there.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
How long have you been married?
5 years.
It's gonna happen. Don't worry.
It's gonna happen any day now. We actually got married on Guy Fawkes Day.
Hey, speaking of V for Vendetta.
Yep, not on purpose.
Remember the 5th of
November
anniversary. That's a great idea. I'm gonna steal that.
It wasn't on purpose.
Steal that like you steal our guests.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of which,
yeah, let's talk about Near Dark.
I want to know about what guests you have coming up so I can steal them. Because if I get them before you get them, then you stole them from me.
We'll let you know. We'll give you the itinerary.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we have my co-writer, one of my best friends, going to be on, which is ridiculous. He hasn't been on yet, but we write a lot of our scripts together.
You've already recorded that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta convince the guy that I'm going to Ohio with to save that so we can listen to it while we're driving. Because 7 hours in a car needs something to do.
There you go.
Might as well listen to Jack. And Dan. I didn't forget about you, Dan. So Near Dark. Okay. I'd prefer if you recap this movie because you have seen it more than I have. And sure. I make Corey do it because I'm a space case when it comes to remembering shit.
All right, so this was a last minute audible. We decided to watch this just a few hours ago. We had another movie planned, but in honor of Bill Paxton. And then, we had some options. Predator 2, not really a horror movie, but
I still would have covered it.
Bill Paxton's been killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien.
Oh, he was okay. I was trying to remember if he was killed in True Lies.
No, he pees himself.
Yep, pisses himself.
Worse than death.
Such a good
and and he's killed in Near Dark. Speaking of James Cameron, though, it's no coincidence that he's in Near Dark. Near Dark was directed by Catherine Bigelow, and it's actually she won an Oscar, first female director to win an Oscar for Hurt Locker. She also did a little movie called Point Break. So she's been around the block. Near Dark was her first directorial debut. Her only directorial debut, her first movie. And it is from 1987. It is a vampire Western, a horror Western. Stars Adrian Pasdar of Heroes fame and the Prophet from the 90s of this short-lived Fox show. And now he's General Talbot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And basically, it's your boy meets girl, girl bites boy, boy turns into vampire. Vampires kidnap boy and teach boy to be a vampire. Boy doesn't want to be a vampire. Boy escapes. Dad cures boy. Vampires kidnap boy's sister. Boy rides horse and kills vampires. Boy cures girl, and boy and girl live happily ever after. Yeah, one of those. So that's
pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. Do you need more of a plot?
No. I was laughing because while you're saying it, I was like remembering
But what I was saying about Bill Paxton not being a coincidence that he's in the movie. Basically, Catherine Bigelow was married to James Cameron at the time before he left her for Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, and he was basically like, "Hey, I've got a cast for you. I just made this little movie called Aliens, and three of the cast members, almost four, were put near dark. Lance Hendrickson plays the leader of the vampires. The part was offered to Michael Biehn." From Terminator, Kyle Reese, and from Aliens, Hicks. So it's him. It's Bill Paxton as like the renegade psycho vampire, and then Jeanette Goldstein, is that her name? She's like the really butch, short-haired girl in Aliens, a woman in Aliens that is like a total badass and blows herself up with a grenade. And she's also the stepmom in Terminator 2. That T-1000.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, that's just Wolfie's fine, sweetheart. That
Holy shit. Sorry, I just had a revelation. So you ever watch The League?
Yes.
So Taco from The League is he writes music under a band called Wolfie's Just Fine. And he has a song about the first time that he watched Friday the 13th, The New Beginning, or the new
seems like a cool guy. He's my least favorite character on the League.
Taco was way cooler at the beginning of the show, and then it just kind of wore on. But
I've only watched the first two seasons. I planned to catch up, and I just never did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got those three from Terminator. There's like another little kid in it, like one of those vampires that turned into a kid, but he's really an old man, and it sucks that he's stuck in a kid's body. And that's played by can't remember his name, but it's Jason Patric's brother. And Jason Patric starred in a vampire movie with the exact same plot that same year called Lost Boys.
Ooh.
So a little trivia for you there. And then the female lead is played by Jenny Wright, who's been in a few movies, Lawnmower Man, and
that's a good movie.
She was big in that era. Very pretty girl next door look, which was the point of her character in this. And Adrian Pasdar was like 21, and he plays a cowboy. And it's very Catherine Bigelow wanted to do a Western, and the 80s was like the one decade in cinematic history that Westerns were not popular, probably because Heaven's Gate was such a bomb in the early 80s. But it was impossible to get. There's no Westerns in the 80s besides Young Guns with Emilio Estevez. So it took Unforgiven to bring the genre back. So they were like, well, horror movies are big. Vampire movies are big. You got Fright Night. You got Vampire's Kiss. You got others. So Lost Boys. So basically they just did a Western vampire movie. And he's like, it's a very moody. I was surprised. I love this movie. I haven't watched it in a very long time. And I was rewatching it. I was like, you know what? This isn't a great movie. It's a sloppy movie. But what I think makes people stand out is, well, there's a couple of key scenes with Bill Paxton, who steals all the scenes. And it's a very moody film. Like it's like it's like the closest you can get to like an 80s noir outside of Michael Mann, I guess. And it's really, there's something to it. It's something really creepy about seeing like a small Texas town being attacked by a group of just vampires who don't give a shit. Lance Hendrickson's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you like the movie? It's okay if you didn't. Bill Paxton will not be upset because he no longer exists.
He does not exist on the same plane anymore.
There's no plane. He's just gone forever. He's just dust. He's not watching. He's not going to be disappointed from. Trust me.
It's not like a good movie, but it had some scenes. Like I thought Bill Paxton, like the way that he played the character, a lot of times I thought was really funny. Like when what's his nuts is like driving, what is it, Caleb, I think his name is, but he's driving the car at him, and Bill Paxton just like making kissy faces. Like I lost my mind laughing when that shit like that happened.
Yeah, no, he's just having the time of his life because he's playing a vampire, can do whatever the fuck he wants, and he just chews the fucking scenery. It's great. He's great in it.
Yeah, and that's like I thought Bill Paxton was pretty good, and it was a new concept for a movie, even though you're just taking multiple concepts of movies that already exist and just kind of smashing them together. There were times I checked probably 3 times to see how much time was left in this movie.
And it's a short movie. It's 90 minutes long.
It's not long, but it felt pretty long at times.
Well, it's a very alternative script would be the term. It's not like your typical 3-act structure. It would almost work better as a novel. It's mostly about after he gets turned, the vampires want to get rid of him, and they're like, he can only stick with us if he kills and proves himself as a vampire. And it's really like moral conflict. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And then like a half hour into the movie, he doesn't do it, but then he saves the day anyway. So they finally welcome him, and he's like actually happy, and he's finally like, you know what, I'm cool with hanging out with these guys and being a vampire. And then there's like this whole, it turns into a completely different movie where his sister gets kidnapped and he gets cured. He's no longer a vampire, and he somehow manages to take them all out without any weapons. And yeah, no, it's so that makes it the movie feel longer because technically the movie ends about an hour in.
Yeah, and that's that's like Full Metal Jacket does that too.
Yeah,
like when I was a kid, I thought Full Metal Jacket was 2 movies. Well, my dad what he would do is he would rent movies from Blockbuster and then record them onto VHS. We just had all right, the original pirate. But I thought he just recorded 2 movies back to back on one tape when I was a kid because like a 9-year-old should really watch Full Metal Jacket.
You thought like the first movie is called Full Met, about the Museum of Metropolitan Museum of Art, and then you thought the other movie was called Al Jacket.
Al Jacket. What's Al Jacket about, Jack?
About a guy likes to masturbate. Now don't worry, Al Jacket.
What, a guy named Al with chronic masturbatorial disease.
I can make those jokes because with the name Jack, I get plenty of masturbation name jokes all the time.
That's true. I just get stuck with like people calling me Frankenstein and Stein Gardens and Gifts and Stein Optical and yeah. But jerk off jokes. I'd almost rather. What's that?
They're anti-Semites. Don't listen to them.
I'd rather get a jerk off joke. Yeah, I mean it's.
So you see, yeah. So what about like I really dug like the '80s music, the synth music, and
it was very
hard '80s rock in there. It wasn't a great soundtrack, but again, I think besides Bill Pax and like the vampire scenes, there's a very famous scene in the movie. There's 2 really famous scenes in the movie. There's the bar scene where they come in and they just tear this bar apart. And then it's not really a famous scene, but like you said, he gets hit by the truck and he's making kissy faces. He gets hit by the truck and his face gets ripped off. And that image is iconic. It replaced all the posters and when it was re-released. And when people think these days Near Dark, they think of Bill Paxton, like half his face just raw and bloody. And that's only for about 5 seconds of the movie. So those 2, the bar scene and that is really what people take away from Near Dark. But I was surprised. I would say the best part of it was definitely just how moody and noir it was. It bordered on emo. I'll give it that. It was a little emo, but that's why it's nice to see a cowboy, even though he's like a real innocent, good old boy, and oh gee whiz, but at least he's a cowboy. He's got tight jeans and a cowboy hat on, as opposed to like The Crow or Johnny Depp actually auditioned for the role and didn't get the part. Like that would have probably swung it emo.
Yeah, I didn't. Apparently, in 2006, they had announced that they were going to do a remake of the movie.
Oh, excuse me. Of course, I need more bourbon. I'm just sucking on my ice.
Do you want to like take a pause to get more booze?
Nah, I'm not that alcoholic yet.
Fair enough.
Maybe, but yeah, no. It's I wouldn't be shocked at all if they did a remake.
Yeah, it just so in 2008, Platinum Dunes put it on hold because of similarities to Twilight, and that's kind of where it's at.
And it's funny because it really is way before its time, because now the whole vampire love thing is its own genre, and this was kind of the first I can think of where that really happened. Even like Interview with the Vampire is not really a romance unless you count between Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. And then the only other one would be like Dracula and what's her face, Mira or Mary or whatever, and that's Dracula. That's Bram Stoker. It's not the same as, it's not Twilight. This really is the precursor to Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love story. It just starts with him seeing her eat ice cream, which I don't know how she does, but she's like just licking a vanilla cone, like, and she really is just girl. It's, you know, boy meets girl, girl's vampire.
So are you saying that vampires shouldn't be able to eat ice cream?
Well, he eats a candy bar in the movie and he gets sick. The vampire rules, so they never say the word vampire in this movie, and the vampire rules are never explicitly ever said, but most of them seem pretty standard. The sunlight kills them, although one of my favorite things is it kills them very slowly. That you don't see very often. One of the coolest visuals in the movie is seeing them start smoking.
I'll agree with that.
And let's see what else. They suck blood. They need blood. The turning is pretty, but there's no crosses. There's no mirrors. But yeah, he does eat a candy bar and it makes him sick. He can't eat it. So I would imagine they can't eat real food. Most vampires can't.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about it that way. Felt like maybe become a vampire, you're instantly lactose intolerant.
Or he's just sick from turning. So who knows?
Yeah. Any number of.
I did like that they played fast and loose with the rules.
I'm trying to find the soundtrack because I remember seeing like Bon Jovi's on it.
Of course he is.
Well, when you talk about 80s, things being very 80s.
Is he on the soundtrack to John Carpenter's Vampires?
I
Where he
wish.
plays sidekick to James Woods?
Wait,
Maybe
have I seen
that movie next?
I've-
It was a '90s vampire movie. There's a great Triumph the Insult Comic Dog is on. There's a great Conan bit where he's at a Bon Jovi concert and he's talking to Bon Jovi and he goes, "You were so good in Vampires. Finally, a role that required you to suck."
He's not good at acting.
No, he's much better at owning CFL teams, not CFL. What's the minor league football arena? AFL.
Oh yeah, okay.
He
So
owns the
CFL's the
Philadelphia-
Canadian one.
Yeah, he owned the Philadelphia team. I remember that.
Huh. Yeah, I can't figure it out.
It's all right. It wasn't again. It was more mood than anything. I couldn't hum the theme to Near Dark.
No, and I think this came out when like soundtracks came out. That was full songs, and then there was a separate score.
Yeah,
and then there was the period of time where like the soundtrack and the score were kind of the same thing. So the soundtrack doesn't mean shit if you're talking about the score.
There's a song from the Terminator I love, and I was trying forever to track it down. And I remember the soundtrack to the Terminator was on Amazon for like $50. I was like, fuck.
Oh.
I guess because it's just so hard to find. And it was somehow I found like on Kazaa, LimeWire, whatever the fuck it was at the time. I found the song, and it's this 80s song called "You Got Me Burning." It's like Tahine Kane or something. I can't remember the artist, but it's basically what's playing when they're in the tech noir and he's about to kill Sarah Connor, and that's where Kyle Reese shows up for the first time and starts blasting him with the shotgun.
Oh,
it's such an intense scene. It's like, "You got me burning," and like it's the very famous like Arnold Schwarzenegger sunglasses walk, and people never remember that song, but man, that was like my holy grail for a while.
That's awesome.
Tracking that song down. Yeah.
What happened when you found it?
I play it constantly. It's actually I don't think it's on YouTube anymore, but I even made it the theme song to my trailer for all of my student films sophomore year. So I just because I enjoy editing, I actually made myself a trailer and cut all 5 of my sophomore year films together and played that song over it.
Are you sure it's not called Burning in the Third Degree?
It is called Burn in the Third Degree.
Okay.
What did I say?
You Got Me Burning.
Oh yeah.
Close enough. So it's by Tani.
You Got Me Burning is the chorus. Yeah, it's definitely called Burning in the Third Degree.
Okay. Yeah, so it's by Tani Kane and the Triangles.
It's such a catchy fucking song.
There's multiple versions on YouTube if you want to hear
It's like one of those songs where I don't understand why it doesn't pop up on like an 80s Pandora channel. Like that should be up there with any other shitty 80s song.
The 80s were great. All right.
I know. I mean that with love. I like when I say you're a shitty person. I mean that, I mean that with love.
Yeah, I completely agree. I tell all of my friends that they suck repeatedly. Yeah. Taking that silence.
Sorry, I'm sucking my ice cubes. I'm trying not to chew them on mic.
I don't give a shit.
Not you, your listeners.
Yeah, we're nicer to our listeners here.
Yeah, we've gotten kind of mean lately.
It's still pretty funny to me. Technically, I'm a listener.
The stuff we do, the shtick we do, Dan's voices, yelling at the audience, we do it because there is a very small vocal minority that eats it up, and we love catering to them because they're so supportive, and they're like we do it for them, but it really is not self-serving because the other 95% of people listening are just like, I don't need to listen to this.
Yeah. If I wanted to get yelled at and told that I'm a shitty person, I'd just go hang out with my dad. I hope that drums up daddy issues for at least 4 people.
I'm one of them, so 3 more.
Oh, come on. No. Just get your dad a big jug of salt. He'll be good. I did put salt on some jalapeno sausage when I was in Texas. Don't know about your
Hey,
dad.
you're learning.
Well, it was like it had no salt. He needed some salt. It's not like yeah.
Sausage is made with salt. I'm imagining.
I'm
So,
sure. I'm sure if it's properly seasoned, there's some salt in there somewhere.
so what else about Near Dark do you want to mention?
Nothing.
What were your favorite parts?
Bill Paxton.
Yeah, no, he really is. He's the best part of the movie, and I think that's why this is a fitting tribute to him.
I completely agree. There isn't like a ton that this movie really did great.
It's a sloppy movie. I think there's a lot of good stuff. I think not maybe a Platinum Dunes remake, but I think a well thought out remake would actually be great.
Well, I think that to remake this movie wouldn't. I'm guessing that they would completely redo. They would completely redo it. They'd have to. I don't think that this has like
story,
a big enough.
The bare bones are there. It's just like I said, sloppy. Like the climax is terrible. He takes on all of the vampires by himself, and they've been so overpowered the entire movie, and somehow he just beats them all, basically because 3 of them commit suicide. He really only kills Bill Paxton, and in the end, he had help from May, one of the 5 vampires. So, like, if she wasn't a turncoat, and the other 3 didn't kill themselves, they'd be fucked.
Yeah, minor details.
The one kid killing himself, I could see. It's barely there. Again, this is why a remake would be better. But basically, he becomes obsessed with Caleb's sister, who's like a young girl, because he's a kid who's trapped in a kid's body. He's an adult trapped in a kid's body, and he sees another kid and he wants to turn her so that somebody else is sharing in his misery. Something I can relate to, and basically he loses her again. He loses her twice. And he's basically goes chasing after her in the sun and dies trying. His obsession kills him. I can live with that. Lance Hendrickson and Jeanette Goldstein, Rattlesnake and Jesse, they just kind of give up. They could easily get out of that situation and not die, and they just kind of give up and go out in a blaze of glory. And I don't buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that if a remake does happen, it will steer so far from the original story that it's really going to have nothing in common other than the name and the very bare bones, but which could be good because this was not like a phenomenal movie.
It's tough when you're hoping for remakes of movies you like, because I think it could be done really well and be a better movie, but it's so easy to make it a shittier movie, and which happens nearly every time.
Like Point Break.
What was the one that popped
Friday
in my
the 13th.
Total Recall, Friday the 13th.
Total Recall, yeah.
Halloween I liked. I haven't seen the second one. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Second one was not good. I did like the first one, but I liked it in like differently than I liked the original.
Yeah, because it's a different movie.
Yep. But the second one, there was a unicorn at some point. Like Michael Myers' mom is in a barn and there's a white horse. That's all I remember from that one.
You know who's good at reboots? You know who should reboot Near Dark? And also, I think he should do a blockbuster sci-fi or superhero. He's never done a science fiction movie. Martin Scorsese. He's done 2 really, really good reboots. He's done Cape Fear, and he's done The Departed. And The Departed is the type of remake I usually want to see when I say they should remake this. If they want it, like The Departed took a great story, Infernal Affairs, this Korean action movie. Now, there's some things Infernal Affairs. I think we're going to talk about this Thursday on Worst Episode Ever. We're covering The Departed, which is a parody of The Departed. So we actually talk about this in detail there. But basically, Infernal Affairs has some really cool scenes and really cool moments that is not in The Departed. They're both great movies, and it's great that they both exist. But when I heard Scorsese was remaking, I was like, this is amazing because you have this great story, and if you just add some good acting and some good drama, some good character drama, you're going to have a great fucking movie. And I was right. They won Best Picture. And I think if you like, that's the gold standard. If you could do that with Near Dark, take these same characters, take the same story, and just flesh it out and tie up those loose ends, make it less sloppy, you'd have a great fucking movie. A cowboy western, come on. There's a moment where it's another iconic shot where he's walking down this empty town on a horse. And it's so iconic, but it makes no fucking sense because he's on the horse and then Bill Paxton shows up and the horse runs away and the horse is there for 5 seconds. The town's empty for some reason. Why is the town empty? Did they kill everybody in the town? Like, I want to, like, show me that shit. like Catherine Bigelow, you know, she won Best Picture. She's a great director. She won the Oscar for Hurt Locker. You can see the beginnings of greatness because the visuals in this movie are great. There's so many great shots. Him going through the dusty farmland while burning in flames, the horse shot. There's so many cool visual stuff, but there's nothing tying them together.
Mhm.
Why is he on a horse? I mean, he's on the horse because they slashed his tires, but there's nothing there. It's just it's there and it's gone.
So all I could think about when you mentioned The Departed is how I
Is Bill Paxton, who is now dearly departed.
he is The Departed, but I hypothetically ate pot brownies and watched The Departed.
You're doing it wrong.
God damn it.
You said you should say I hypothetically ate.
Hypothetically,
You're saying
What?
that you ate pot brownies, and you don't have to say hypothetically.
Whatever. It melted my
Trying
brain.
to not get you to admit that you committed a.
This was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I thought you
yeah,
meant
yeah. This wasn't like recent. This is like when The Departed came out on DVD.
Oh, 2006. Okay.
Yeah, this was 11 years ago. That's a third of my life ago.
It feels like it was yesterday. I remember
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
It's not one of his best, but it's good.
No.
I actually like Gangs of New York. I think Departed is a lesser remake of Gangs of New York. Is the exact same movie. Leonardo DiCaprio has a charismatic evil boss that he's actually a mole for. Departed is Jack Nicholson. Gangs of New York is Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, I also watch Gangs of New York now. The problem is they're like what 3-hour movies, 2.5.
Yeah, it's a flawed movie, but it's so epic.
I just want to be entertained, like, and that's part of the reason I really like listening to you talk about movies is because you see it from a movie maker standpoint.
We said once we went to about 2 years of film school, we like movies were ruined for us. Like one of my favorite movies growing up was Volcano, Tommy Lee Jones, and we were watching it a summer between classes, me and 2 other film students, and it was just the worst movie ever, and we just saw why it was so bad, and it was like we said it's the Matrix. It's we don't see movies anymore. We just see like green letters falling down. Like there's the blonde, there's the redhead, there's the oh yeah, this is where the dog has to like get out so that the audience cheers, and oh here comes the sassy black guy, and here comes this dialogue, and here comes this second. And like yeah, no, we just see it. We just see the Matrix Code. It's not fun. That's not a way to watch a movie. I want to watch Volcano and enjoy it.
So you really did that to yourself.
Yeah, don't be jealous.
I'm not at all.
Well, it was worth it.
I
It was worth it, Matt, because my film degree has gotten me a very luxurious career and lifestyle. So it was totally worth ruining the one thing I really loved my whole life, and paying $200,000 for it.
God damn, that's insane. I imagine that your entire apartment is the size of my living room too.
Yeah, that's living in Brooklyn. I have a big apartment for somebody who makes a little money and lives in Brooklyn, but that's because I live at the fucking south end of Brooklyn, and I have to commute 45 minutes to the city.
So how many square feet is your apartment? We're getting off topic here.
1,000.
1,000,
which is big. Which is big for a 1-bedroom. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I do all right, but again, it's because I got lucky. It was like a perfect storm. I got lucky. It's the right neighborhood in that it's far away from Manhattan.
Okay.
I got the previous tenant's rate because the one time in my life I actually like haggled my ass off and did a great job. It was a confluence of good luck.
Hey, that's all you need. Now you can never move.
No, and my girlfriend's there's rumblings of wanting to move because we've got some really shitty neighbors, but I can't see it being worth it. It cost $1,000 to move last time. I feel like if the only way it would be worth it is if we find some place where the rent would be less than $1,000 for 12 months. If that makes sense. Yeah,
and I don't think you can do that without moving outside of the city, and you apparently like living in the city.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like anything.
I don't know, man. You come.
That's the other thing is besides being lucky with the space, my neighborhood is one of the best neighborhoods in Brooklyn. We're so lucky. It's such a nice neighborhood.
You could come spend a week in bumfuck Egypt, and then we'll see how much you still really.
I would love to do that. I love the country. I've never been. But
this isn't the country, but like we live in like a neighborhood.
Oh,
but
people.
Well, depending on if you would ever come visit, by that time we may live in the country because that's where we're looking to go.
No, I don't know. It would probably freak me out. I like having a million people surrounding me at all times.
I drove in Austin for last week, Austin, Texas, which is the complete opposite of where I currently live.
Austin's similar to Brooklyn, I believe, right?
I didn't go downtown.
I refuse. Not Brooklyn, Williamsburg.
Oh yeah, no, Austin is hip as fuck. Like everyone's wearing skinny jeans and black rim glasses and slouch beanies.
I almost
Um,
I almost moved there.
it's it's cool, I guess. I don't know. For being into music, it's kind of nice that way. But I would never want to go downtown. Our previous guest, Matt Vincent, said it best. It's like it's a city that was built for like 10,000 people and 9 million showed up.
Yep.
And they never really like built it properly. So
Yeah.
what drives me nuts the most is like highways run right down the middle, and then there's just two one-way streets on each side, and every underpass has like a turnaround. So it's like if you miss something, you gotta go all the way around, and that whatever drove me nuts. So you had to be kind of an asshole. And I came home, and I was driving somewhere today, which is like the first time I drove since I got home, and there's like no one around. It's like I don't have to be a dick to do things. It was a little weird, but I missed it. It's so much nicer to just like leisurely drive to where I'm going. Like I don't have to be like an aggressive driver just to accomplish things.
I don't drive, but my girlfriend has a car because she moved from Austin here. She came from Austin.
Okay.
And sometimes she will have to drive around for about 45 minutes looking for a parking spot.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about cities.
Like Austin, Manhattan's the same thing. I've been saying they should ban private cars in Manhattan, and people are like, that's ridiculous. And I go, no. Manhattan was built in the late 1600s. It is not made for cars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let alone millions.
And nobody has a car. Everybody. The reason every time we try to ban cars or put a heavy toll on it or something, it's shot down by the state legislature because all the people that drive into Manhattan are richer, more affluent people from the exurbs, and it's like it's not fair. The people who are living in Manhattan and breathing in the fucking smoke should be the ones that have a say.
Think how much money the state is making off of vehicle registration.
I never even thought about that too. Never even thought about that. That's a great point.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that that's the reason that you should.
The state legislature, I hope it doesn't get passed. They were toying with the idea of a 10-year moratorium on self-driving cars. They're like, let's wait 10 years before we start trying this out. Which is like, fuck that.
It's stupid.
It's the fucking future, man.
Yeah.
They're like,
embrace
no, we don't want
the future.
Cab drivers out of business, which is true. The upcoming automation revolution is going to put a shit ton of people out of jobs, and it's going to be bad.
Well,
might as well rip off the Band-Aid.
Think about Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft has been kicked out of Austin. There was a big problem with it in Vegas because of the taxi companies. But here's my personal interactions with taxis and Uber in Vegas. I took a taxi from the airport to Mandalay Bay. It's like 3 miles. It was $22. I took an Uber from Mandalay Bay to the airport with a $2. Sorry, my dogs are going nuts. With a $2 airport surcharge, and it was $11.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing. Sometimes I'll pay like $11. I'll get off at again, I live in a part of Brooklyn that's kind of inaccessible at certain times. And sometimes I'll just get an Uber and I'll have to pay like $11 to get home. And, it's a 20-minute walk. It's just ridiculous.
But the thing is like,
I stopped doing that. Now I just walk.
Yeah. Well, in the summer you can, you know what I mean? But in winter,
I'll do it in the winter too. Yeah. I'll be miserable. I just didn't realize it was that quick a walk at the time. Yeah.
I mean, I guess 20 minutes is
typically when I'm
bad.
doing this. If the time it's inaccessible is late at night, so usually I'm drunk. So usually I'm just like I just walk, and then I walk. I stop and pee on somebody's car every few blocks, and it's just something I've been doing for.
It's America. You can do that, but I don't. I mean, if it was a longer walk, I wouldn't. I mean, the convenience of someone picking you up and just dropping you off, and you don't have to fuck with parking, you don't have to pay for parking, you don't have to worry about driving, like it makes sense to me. I use it when traveling for work if I don't have a car, but we should probably talk about the movie that we're here for.
Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
I mean, I literally am out of things to talk about, but
I'm surprised too. Me too. I really don't have that much to say. Let's talk about the bar scene, because that is the most famous scene in the. What's your Apple Watch background?
Oh, it's just
we got there.
It's literally just the time. I don't see.
No. Like, what's your watch face?
Dude, that's it.
That's your watch face?
Yeah.
What is that? I don't see. That's not on my menu.
Let's see.
Oh, it's Mickey Mouse. No, what is it?
That's
not on the camera.
It's literally just fucking time.
Well, I don't. I don't think I have that option. That's weird.
Yeah, turn it on.
It's a butterfly.
It's a butterfly. I was hoping for like some sort of customization options, and
Yeah. Well, they're limited, but
yeah.
I was surprised you couldn't pick the background. I had a really good idea for my watch. Now I can't remember what it was, but like yeah, I can pick. Like I decided to put the weather and my heart rate on there. Like that you can customize. But
Yep. Yeah,
watch can talk. It goes, yeah, oh boy, it's 4:04.
I know. I wanted to show my mom, and then I couldn't find it, and then like 3 minutes later, decided that it wasn't worth it.
You just force touch. What do you have? A 1 or a 2?
The 1.
I force touch, and I can slide through. This is some great podcasting.
Oh, yeah.
I can slide through
my
new.
Yeah. Shit. Activity digital.
But here's the thing. Maybe it's a 1 thing. I don't have that watch face.
Oh, hey, I found your butterfly.
I like the butterfly. You can also change it to a jellyfish or a flower.
Time lapse.
I do that. I do the New York City skyline. I want the Mickey Mouse. I love the Mickey Mouse, but I can't tell time anymore. I need digital. I look at it and he's like, his big hand is pointing at the 12 and his small hand is pointing at the 6. I'm like, I can't do the math right now. I'm sorry.
I had like a normal, like you're saying, the Mickey Mouse one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just give me the fucking numbers.
Yeah, no, I just can't. The time it takes for me to tell the time now, where I just can't do it. Especially when usually when I'm doing it, I'm on my way to work and I haven't had coffee yet, and I'm just not awake.
Yes, and at this point, like when I look at it to see the time, I'm trying to negate pulling out my phone.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're trying to do it as quick as possible.
But there's a lot of times where I will check my watch for the time and realize that I never looked at the time.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. Now I keep my watch on all day and I take it off right before I go to bed to charge it. This watch is great. I could go 3 days without charging it. But
oh, really?
Yeah, at least for now. We were talking about new Apple products before we started recording. I'm sure once it's a few months old.
Well, this one's a couple years old. I bought it from someone who bought it too. I mean, to keep cutting you off, but this battery is usually, let's see here. It's at 60% right now, and I've been wearing it all day.
I've been wearing mine all day. It's at 71. But what were we talking about? Oh, no. When I take it off, that like 15 minutes, I'm still awake. Or if I'm in the shower, it's waterproof, but I take it off when I get in the shower because I'm afraid the soap's going to fuck it up.
Fair enough.
I do know. I have muscle memory. I check my watch now. And I haven't worn a watch since my Jordache digital watch when I was 10 years old. Like I gave up watches because I didn't need them. I just didn't need them.
I always said if I want to see the time, I'll take my phone out of my pocket.
Exactly. Yeah. I was trying to think if I wore a watch before I had a cell phone, and
I didn't.
And then I don't think I did. But no, yeah. So it's crazy how I've had this watch since November, and yeah, I have this crazy muscle memory where I'm just constantly just looking at my wrist now.
And you were nervous about wasting the money to buy the watch.
I have a lot of guilt when I buy heavy, expensive products.
But it's not cheap. It's like a $350 watch.
Yeah, no, this was not cheap, but it's totally changed my life. It was totally worth it. I use it for everything. Because I'm a very absent-minded guy. I need the constant reminders. I need the timers. I use it for my calendar appointments. I have it on mute, so I just get 2 taps, and I'm just it's like being a robot. It's such a huge step towards just becoming a cybernetic organism. I love it. I need it.
What the fuck? I totally forgot what I was going to ask you.
Something about near dark. Probably not.
Probably not. I basically just record our conversations and release it as under the guise of a podcast. Speaking of the devil, my wrist just bumped twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm fine with doing an unprecedented early episode, short episode with you. But I did want to talk. I mean, I'll let you if you have something you want to say. But I do want to talk about the bar scene at some point.
Oh yeah, bar scene. So when you said in short episode, we've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes, so it's not really short.
Is that not short for you?
No.
It's like a short podcast of terror.
It's a short podcast of terror when you, Dan, or Matt are on, but it's pretty much the average amount of time when anyone else comes on.
All right, so we're doing it right. I want to make sure we do the movie justice.
But the problem is I don't want to say that there isn't a ton to do the movie justice for, but there isn't a ton for
it's a movie. Kind of just happens. It's just lots of quiet shots of him roaming around and being sad that he's a vampire. It really is Twilight, huh?
Yeah, there isn't like a lot of really cool stuff that happened that got me like pumped for the upcoming scene, and the bar scene that we want to talk about is probably really the only like super cool thing that happened in the movie.
Yeah, it's basically it's this troop of vampires, Lance Hendrickson and the aliens crew and the kid and May. They've been around for a while. He says he fought for the South in the Civil War. They also insinuate they started the Chicago Fire in the 1870s, and they just go around the country, drive around and killing people. And he says the last time he was in this part of Texas was or Oklahoma, where they are. I keep saying Texas because I just watched Hell or High Water, which takes place in Texas. It's a kind of a similar movie aesthetically, but yeah, they just go around and town to town and get victims and so forth. And so they're trying to convince this kid, Caleb, he gets one more shot. It's like, you have to kill somebody to prove you're a vampire, or we're just going to put you down. You're not one of us. So they go to this bar, and the bar has 3 patrons, a bartender, and a waitress. And they come in, they get a table. They're creepy as fuck. It's a small town where everybody knows each other. And then Bill Paxton is just such an asshole right off the bat. He just knocks over the guy's drink. Oh, it's so much fun. He's just chewing the scenery. He's the guy's about to punch him in the face, and Bill Paxton just grabs his beer and dips his chin in it and gives himself like a white foamy chin, and he just goes, "Hey, you ever see my who was it? He was doing an impression of Wild Bill. Well, no, not Wild Bill Hickok. Who's the other one? Who's the Annie Oakley?
I can't think of it either.
Roy Rogers, one of those. But yeah, anyway, he's so good, and he's so menacing, and it's just it's all attention. Shit's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's played so well, and then it finally does, and it's just brutal. They just tear these people apart.
And that's really like that's all for the action of the movie, really.
Yeah, and it shows you like how fun it is to just be this evil vampire. They're just like breaking bottles and throwing Molotov cocktails. It's chaotic. They're just like tearing shit apart because they can.
And I remember when I was a kid, always wanting to be a vampire, because it's like you could just stay out all night. You're never tired. You fucking do whatever you want. And now when it gets dark out, I'm like, I should probably go to bed.
Yeah, dark. I would be so miserable if I couldn't go to the beach anymore. But I used to have the same. I used to walk around freshman year of college. I would walk around the village when I was like bored and I couldn't sleep, and I would hope that I would somehow stumble into some kind of adventure. Like somebody would like bump into me like with a gut shot and be like, take this note, or something like that. Never happened.
Yeah, that should never happen.
Diner and get mozzarella sticks, but
ooh,
yeah, it worked out. But
yeah,
that's my adventure.
just
some marinara on the side. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe instead of halal, I'll get some mozzarella sticks now.
I haven't had mozzarella sticks in a very long time.
The thing with mozzarella sticks is I'd have to order it, and if I order takeout as opposed to going out and get something, it's going to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You can't tell me that there isn't a pizza place a block from your apartment that you could just go get mozzarella sticks from.
There's 4 or 5, but mozzarella sticks you don't want to get from a pizza place. They just reheat some in the oven. You want to get mozzarella sticks from a diner.
Okay, fair enough.
Of which I also have about 4 within a block.
You're not like.
But I'd have to sit and wait for them to cook it. If I order from a diner, I'm either going to sit down and eat, or I'm going to order takeout. I'm not going to like do a pickup.
Jack Picone problems.
But yeah, no, that bar scene, we're not really, on paper, it sounds fairly dull. It's funny. I guess the Twilight equivalent of it would be when they play baseball. It's like, isn't it being a vampire cool? We can hit home runs and run the bases really quick. But it's kind of that scene, and it also shows you how evil like Lance Hendrickson is and how crazy Bill Paxton is. But other than that, there's not too much going on. There's an early scene where he's going to try to kill a truck driver, but he can't. And the truck driver is like teaching him how to jackknife a truck. Oh, I don't remember this from previous watches, but basically when he kills Bill Paxton, he runs him over with this 18-wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy earlier in the movie taught him how to jackknife a truck. And it's like, Chekhov's gun. He taught him so that in the third act, he could jackknife it. So he does something with the stick shift. Like he I guess to jackknife it, you have to take the stick and take the what's it called? The throttle. What's that foot pedal when you shift?
The clutch.
Clutch. Yeah, that's it. I've never driven stick, and I've barely driven automatic. Actually, the night that the party won the best picture, I had a huge car accident. I haven't driven since.
Jesus, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was my fault. I was very drunk, but and it was in the middle of a blizzard, and I was on a hill, and I actually did drive the next day and got into another accident. So then I was like, then I stopped driving regularly. But what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, he does the clutch and he does this and he jumps out of the car and you think he's gonna jackknife it because they set this whole thing up, but instead the truck, it's a gasoline truck. Instead it just explodes. like I don't drive stick, but is there something you can do with the clutch that makes the car self-destruct? Is that a thing? Like if you go into third gear, it blows up.
Blows up? No, I mean.
The truck just spontaneously explodes.
I don't think it would explode. I feel like if you got really lucky, you could like melt your transmission. But
no, I don't get it. And I was just saying how that's like the one death in the movie that made sense where he actually successfully killed a vampire. Now that I think about it, it was just as random as the suicides. The truck just blows up for no reason.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Sloppy movie.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of rumors. We should talk about this. I think they're sexist. I don't think they're based in any merit. There was a lot of rumors that James Cameron was actually directing the film. Like he was kind of just coming on set and doing all the heavy work, heavy lifting, and helping his girlfriend out or wife out.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Bigelow's proven herself multiple times since then. So I think that's just kind of sexist. Like, oh, a woman can't do this. But that truck scene did look exactly like the truck scene in Terminator.
It's possible.
I will say that.
He may have
I
had
guess there's only so many ways you can film a gasoline truck exploding. I don't know.
I don't film movies. That's your line of work.
Yeah, no, that was our sophomore year. It was after our math class. We did blowing up truck explosions.
Year 2, week 6, truck explosions. Do you want to rate this thing?
Yeah, let's rank it.
Okay, so I know you've been here for the FAP scale, but if you're new, we do this on a 3-tier scale of masturbatorial references. First of all, we do the feature and then the attention and the panic, all on a 0 to 5. We'll start off with the feature, which is the story, which we literally have just dismantled in the past hour. But as our esteemed fill-in co-host, you get to go first.
Oh, great. So 0
to 5 on the story.
Like I said, I think the story and the characters are the best part. It's the execution that was terrible. Extra points for creating the whole Twilight genre a decade, 20 years in advance. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Fair enough. I didn't give it extra points for creating Twilight, so I just went with a 2.5. But still, and like I agree with you, the story was the best part. The characters were the best part. Everything else kind of sucked. But next, we got the attention. How likely are you to watch this again and recommend it?
I was actually thinking about this specific category when I was watching the movie. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to rate this because this is the type of movie where I'm not likely to rewatch it again anytime soon. Like it's not an enjoyable movie to watch. It's a tone, in the same way that, certain songs you don't want to listen to unless you're in this specific mood. And I think this is the same way. However, in 40, 50 years, if I'm still alive, I would love to watch this movie again, or even like in 10 years, in 20 years. But in 50 years, I could watch this movie again and still get the same enjoyment out of it. I would love to revisit it every now and then, just not often. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how does that usually play for you? What do you give that?
I agree with you based on it. Like every couple of years, I could be like, yeah, we can watch Near Dark. Right. I gave it a 1 based on that.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 2.
2. Okay. And this is also the first time I watched it. So when did you first see this? When you were younger? Like
high school, college. Our little Staten Island crew watched it.
So Near Dark to you, maybe like My Strangeland, where it's like it's not a good movie, but I watch it every so often just because
I didn't grow up with it. Yeah, I didn't grow up with it. It's not Volcano.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Not Twister.
Oh, fucking love Twister.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm actually gonna try and watch Twister later. The last one we have is the panic, scariness of the movie. There wasn't a ton of effects other than Bill Paxton's face being ripped off,
which was cool, although they barely show it. It's a dark movie.
Mm-hmm. It was very dark. There was times where I had a hard time seeing it on my TV.
Yeah, I don't usually watch TV during the day. because the sun comes in through my windows and I can't see my TV. And dark movies are the worst. And yeah, no, it was tough. It's not really particularly scary. The characters are menacing. All of the vampires, except for I guess May, are particularly menacing vampires in the pantheon of movie vampires. 2, 1.5. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's still pretty generous, though. I straight up
I'll give it a 2. I'll bump it up to from 1.5 for the makeup, the special effects makeup.
Fair enough. I give it a 0.
Fair enough.
No fucking around, just a 0.
What do you got to do?
I go solely on like, did this movie scare me? I never look at the effects. I never weight it on the effects because.
Well, you tell me. It's your show. If I want to, the movie did not scare me.
No, but part of it is the effects.
Okay.
The effects help the scariness.
Hey, you're the host. I'm just the co-host / guest. So.
Nah. This is
/ probably only person watching this too. So I'm the co-host, the guest, and the viewer.
This is being on our podcast is much like third grade recess, where everyone just does whatever they want. And then we just kind of all come together once in a while. And
right, I'm gonna go play it. Then I'll go play it the basketball hoop that has no net. And
that was the saddest one because if you made a nice shot, it didn't make the twick sound.
Oh, that was everywhere. Not a single net in my school had not in a single hoop in my school had a net. Jesus Christ! Not a single hoop in my school had a net. What did I say? I remember I got it right.
I think you got it right the last time.
It's because they're not weathered. They get wet and then they freeze. And then I figured this out because it happened to my own driveway net. It got frozen solid and then it literally disintegrated. And then, the guy had put in my fucking basketball net, put it in at 11 feet, which is a foot over regulation.
Mm-hmm. And
then the net fell off. And then, so I had no net and none of my friends would play basketball with me because nobody could get any shots in because it was fucking high. That sums up my whole childhood, I think.
Wow. And yet so you got really good at the 11-foot net, tried to become a high school basketball superstar, but you kept overshooting because it was a foot lower.
Yeah, no,
this is a movie.
That's exactly what happened. No, I was terrible anyway, but none of my friends wanted to play because it was nobody could get a shot.
I just imagine
they might as well have the guy might as well have just like put an X across over the rim so that no ball could even get in. And then he started dating my mom. So that really does sum it up.
Wow. All right. You can contact us by leaving us a voicemail at 805-328-3966. You can email us at pot@gncast.com. You can leave us a message on the website. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, favorite part of the show, least favorite part of the show. What can we do different? What can we do better? You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Podcast of Terror. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, any of your favorite podcatchers. Please leave us feedback. I know we don't have 80,000 feedbacks like you guys do, but we're in double digits.
We have a lot of 1 and 2 stars, so it's a double-edged sword.
I'm still trying to figure out. Someone gave us a 3-star, and I haven't figured out who it is. I'll figure it out. But all subscription options and links can be found at gncast.com/subscribe. You can find us on Facebook under the Galactic Network. Jack, you can put your guest hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 stars though. That is interesting because if you really love something or you're a big fan, you want to support the show, you go out of your way. iTunes, right now iTunes review is kind of tedious. So you put in the 5 stars, or you really hate it, you want to show this terrible, you go and put a 1 star. 3 star. If you might think this is a 3-star podcast, but why would you go out of your way to say it? Like, who cares if it's that mediocre? Why bother?
Yep, and they didn't type a review either, so they just clicked 3 stars and they're like,
"Thanks."
It's a mediocre review for a mediocre podcast.
Maybe it was somebody director of one of the movies you covered.
That's possible.
Like, you're I can give it 3 out of 5 too. Here's my replayability score for Podcast of Terror. That's my impression of Rob Zombie. By the way, have you done a Rob Zombie movie?
No.
What's the director you've done that you didn't like? Oh, it's the director of Leviathan. Peter Weller.
Well, so keep in mind, although Leviathan did get low scores for me at least, we also did Grave of the Vampire, which I gave all 0s. Corey gave it 0, 0, 1, and our guest gave it a 0, 2, and 1.
It does sound like a pretty terrible movie.
It's horrendous. It's on YouTube. What was the other one? Manos in the Hands of Fate.
Wow, that's like famously bad.
Yeah.
That's gotta be so bad it's good, right?
It was bad enough that there is a side-scrolling game on Steam that I purchased.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Manos in the Hands of Fate. I gave it zeros. Corey gave it zeros, and Dave, who also did Grave of the Vampire, gave it a 1, a 0, and a 1.
So I'm going to guess the Grave of the Vampire director is the one that left you the 3 stars, which was actually kind of generous of him.
Yeah, given how much I disliked his movie. Yeah, there's 10 5-stars and 1 3-star.
Oof.
It's gonna haunt me. Really bringing that average down. So you can go ahead and plug all your shit again, I guess.
Sure. So I do a weekly podcast called 90s Percentile. It's very free form. It's basically if you replaced Matt with my co-host Dan, and you replaced and you took out all the actual talk about Near Dark, you'd be left with 90s Percentile. We do touch on 90s topics here and there that you guys submit. So if you submit a 90s topic, we'll take it. We'll cover it eventually. We also do a bi-monthly podcast called Worst Episode Ever, where we watch new episodes of The Simpsons, new as in anything after like 1999, 2000. And we rank those. Typically they're bad. Sometimes they're okay. And we've done some commentary tracks you can buy for movies like Home Alone 2 and Air Force One and The Simpsons movie. And you can find all of that at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at WeStudiosPod. That's we as in worst episode ever. It's not as in like a wee.
And
I'm at Jackie No Breaks. If you want to follow me, I have a spelling homework blog on Facebook called Using a Sentence. If you want to follow that, I post my old spelling homework.
You updated that recently?
It's probably running out of new posts soon, but yeah, it's been updating 3 times a week for the last 4 or 5 months.
What the hell? What's it called?
Use in a sentence. So basically, a few years ago, I found my first grade spelling homework where they would give you a bunch of words and I would have to use them in a sentence. And the sentences I would use were so batshit crazy and so completely against the point of using a word in a sentence that I was like, oh, I gotta just do something with these.
So I got to do this. So I knew I liked your page, but I have not seen any of this.
No, nobody sees it. It's a very niche thing.
Well, I have to outsmart Facebook and go and like a bunch of your posts so that it starts showing up in my feed.
Oh, is that why you're suddenly liking all my posts?
Yeah, it's how you get. I hope your watch is just going ape shit right now. Yeah.
No, I turned Facebook off. I think
fine. Yeah, because I remember finding these, and these are very, very funny. I just fucking Facebook.
It's okay. It's all right.
Fucking Facebook. Thanks, buddy. I'm glad. You can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Matt the Lifeguard.
I'm Jackie No Bricks is also my Instagram, but I have maybe 2 selfies. That's usually I just post pictures of like things.
I post pictures of the records that I purchase, and when I get really drunk, I take pictures of whatever I'm doing while drunk.
I feel like I took a picture yesterday that I wanted to post, and I just remembered now. What was it?
I'll get you.
Oh no, yeah, no. I spilled. I was eating melted chocolate ice cream, and it spilled all over my jeans while I was watching Near Dark. So I was so mad. So I was already like texting. I think that's why I started spilling chocolate ice cream. So I just took a picture of it, and I got to post it later and put. See, nothing gets chocolate out.
Jesus.
The Chief Wiggum line from.
Yep.
Nothing gets chocolate out. Say.
I spent a lot of.
It looks like I went out of my way to recreate the shot from The Simpsons.
Oh God, I can't wait to see that.
I really do hope chocolate comes out. I hope the Shout wipes I use does get chocolate out, but we'll find out.
Otherwise, get some Shout spray and before you throw it in the wash.
That's what I just said. Just use Shout spray.
You said Shout wipes.
I said Shout. It was Shout spray, but I was saying Shout wipes because I thought that would be more accessible to your audience. I didn't think people knew what Shout spray was.
Oh, see, I had to use Shout spray because when I was down in Texas, I was sitting in a bar and
Huh?
Oh, I didn't see you
joking.
wiggling the.
I'm not joking.
Oh, I believe you. I was when I was down in Texas, I was sitting in a bar and just got a bloody nose randomly.
Ooh,
and yeah, it was weird. And the bartender and he just kind of looks at me and said, that's weird. I haven't done cocaine anytime soon. He just like stared at me and I'm like, oh, I'm serious. I haven't done cocaine recently. So I don't know how I got a bloody nose, but I had to use Shout spray to get it out of my shorts when I got home. So
and it worked.
It did.
Good. I hope this gets a chocolate out.
All right. Well, that'll do that for this episode of the podcast here. So thanks again. We'll talk to you guys next week.
I had a pleasure. Thank you.
God damn it. I did pause before that was on there. I'll let you get to your Oscars.
Oh yeah, I gotta make my lunch for the week and shit before I can watch them. But
Well,
I had a great time. Thank you for this. It was,
Yeah, thank you for.
That's just you and me.
Yeah, thanks for making the time to do this too. By the way,
My
I'm gonna stop YouTube so that we don't say anything we're gonna regret in this.